Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Rome Floyd Chamber Small Business Spotlight. We are broadcasting from the Hardy Realty Studios located in downtown Rome on Broad Street, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. I am Roger Manus with Rome Business Radio.
I'm Carly Parker with the Rome Floyd Chamber, and today on our podcast we have Keith Ozment with Spartan Smoothie and Nutrition with another company as well. He's a kind of a big entrepreneur with Stumps Grinders and Hydrate.
Yes.
Hi, Keith. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
We are hunky-dory. That's my standard response because it works down south.
Hunky-dory.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
So you're our only guest today, so it's all about you. You good?
Yes. I guess I'm going to have to be.
The center of attention. Although we could make it about Carly. How are you, Carly?
I'm great. I'm excited about football season. I figured me and you would be talking about that soon anyways.
Carly and I are going to have our own morning radio show soon.
Okay. I'll tune into that.
We're developing our team chemistry. So tell us a little bit about Spartan Smoothie. And is that she said you're an entrepreneur. We'll get to kind of all your little gigs, but let's start there.
So it's pretty much my main gig. I spend most of my time there at the shop. One thing that I'm trying to, I guess, spread awareness on is that we're way more than just a smoothie shop now. We got we brew our own cold brew coffee. We got acai bowls. We do nutrition consultations. We do 8-week Spartan challenges. It's almost like the Biggest Loser challenge in a way. And it's
without the embarrassment,
right? Yeah. So it's
why was he looking at me when he said the Biggest Loser?
It's a full-fledged supplement shop. You know, you can kind of visualize like GNC or a vitamin shop, but we got way more than that. So you walk in this place and it's just floor to ceiling products, vitamins, weight gainers, fat loss products, you name it. So it's pretty much a one-stop shop.
Yeah, so I looked at your website and I got that vibe. So, okay, tell me a little bit about the history. You said you bought it. It was not yours originally. So just what's the history of it?
So I was actually a regular customer. I was going there.
That's the perfect endorsement.
So I was going there every morning after the gym. And there's a particular smoothie that I would always grab, and that's called the Hampton. And I didn't know this until later on, but the smoothie, a lot of the smoothies there are named after actual customers and people in the town. So a guy named Ben Hampton actually is the guy that kind of created that smoothie, and they put it on the menu. It became such a hit.
Okay.
So I think I met Ben one time, and but anyway, it's like a mixture of fresh banana, almond milk, Greek yogurt, oats, peanut butter, honey, just kind of your basic foods that a gym rat would want to kind of get in before or after a workout. So I would go in every morning and grab that at the gym, and became pretty close with the owner. And got to talking, and he mentioned that he was probably going to be putting the business up for sale. So long story short, that ownership took place on my part in 2019.
And where are you guys located?
I always tell people it's behind the Chick-fil-A shipping container area, and everybody knows where that's at in Rome.
Right.
The little shipping container set up, but it's Riverside Parkway. It's where you got the Starbucks and the Olive Garden and all that good stuff. So we're right there behind it.
Yeah, the one thing about Rome, when you give directions, you can always mention a restaurant. And
yes.
Yeah, no one knows. Well, you'll pick on me for my age, but I don't know street names. I just know like placers, like restaurants and stuff.
So, everybody knows where that Chick-fil-A shipping container is. Yeah. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what was your background prior to that?
So before taking ownership of that place, my main gig was stump grinding for a living.
Okay, like literally grinding stumps.
Yes,
and you still do that
with a machine.
Yeah,
a very expensive remote control machine that's pretty fun to play with. By the way, you can imagine it's like a big tank, and you got a remote control to it, and you get to pretty much destroy stumps for a living. So we're very cool. Started that business in 2015.
Okay.
And that was my main gig up until that opportunity came along with the smoothie shop.
And you're born and raised in Rome?
Yes, went to Pepperell, graduated in 2003. And been here my whole life.
So what's interesting, and maybe Carly can touch on this as well, being at the chamber, because some people kind of find a career path and that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But some kind of bounce around, but then some kind of have this little spirit of, let me buy that. Let me try that. Let me dabble in this. Just talking before the podcast, you've got another idea or two that you may not want to talk about yet, but, so just talk about that mindset of where you live in opportunities.
So it was probably from a young age when I kind of discovered that I just wasn't going to be kind of like I don't know. There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but
right.
And I tried those, but I always felt like I was kind of in a box, and my mind was just too busy to kind of make that work for me. And I did it for a long time because ultimately I've probably started over 20 businesses in the past 20 years. A lot of them failed. At one point I was in wedding videography, had an advertising and marketing company, lots of businesses that I tried, and it worked for a while, but it was all stepping stones, in my opinion, to get me to where I am now ultimately. So I've always just had that kind of entrepreneurial, even when I had like that solid, safe career, I would always do stuff on the weekends as a side hustle to try the next big thing to see if it would work, whether it was detailing cars or heck, at one point I was making soap, handmade soap, lye soap.
So you literally have tried a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Carly, I know you hadn't been at the chamber that long, but kind of what's your experience of some of the members that you have met? I guess there's some folks that have that, but then there are some folks that, coming out of high school or college, they've done the same thing. And
those are usually like your doctors, accountants, lawyers, I would say. But it's very different from business to business. Like seeing Keith like owning multiple businesses, trying them out, really trying to figure out where he wants to go in life is honestly an accomplishment in itself to keep going, even though you might have, and I say that you failed at something. So those people that do come out of college that are really know what they're doing is honestly, I'm like, how do you know the rest of your life what you want to do?
Right.
That is crazy to think about.
Yep.
I mean, you were kind of that way though. You were really into broadcasting.
Yeah.
When you were at UGA, right?
Yeah. Well, when I was like 15, I just assumed I was going to go to college and win the Heisman Trophy. And then, but at 15, I realized my athletic career had peaked.
Yeah.
So I thought, how can I go to ball games for free?
Oh.
So sportscasting kind of became my thing.
Yeah.
And then it's just, I've kind of stayed attached tangentially in the broadcasting world. But grinding stumps and making smoothies are way different.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I think about like what ultimately is my end goal or why do I do what I do, and it's serving people. Like, whether it was from a customer service standpoint with grinding stumps or making delicious products that I can sell at a smoothie shop, I like the customer service aspect of it. And ideally for me, if you can combine that with something you're super passionate about, which for me is nutrition and fitness, that's kind of a win-win.
Well, and it's interesting that you kind of became familiar with this business by being a customer.
Yep.
And I said, there's no better testament. But okay, so you take over. All right, let's go through the negative side of being an entrepreneur. What are the headaches? What were you not anticipating? The federal government wants its taxes.
Yes.
But what are some of the you got to worry about staff. You've got to worry about, everything.
Or 4 months after taking over a business, a thing called COVID and a pandemic hits.
I heard about that. It made the news.
Yes. So very interesting. I'm like, what did I just do? We have at that time 8 employees and rent still coming in, and and you're just hoping and praying you can just break even, which we did.
Good for you.
So,
how did you do that? How did you manage?
Just had to pivot and get really creative with some curbside pickup. We were a type of business that didn't require to be shut down completely. So by offering, we had to close the actual store, but we were able to bring products out to the curb, and people were driving up, and we had a very creative texting system and using DoorDash and stuff like that. So it was pretty busy there just in the parking lot for a few months.
Did you feel like Rome kind of gathered around you and kind of supported you in a way during COVID?
Yeah, I mean, at that time, a lot of people wasn't aware yet that the business had even sold. So as far
you were really trying to get your name out there then.
Yeah.
To be like, I'm the new owner.
Right.
I would love to meet you, but I can't.
Right. So
from a distance.
Yep.
Behind a mask.
Yeah.
Yes. Lots of masks. And as a matter of fact, we had a really nice magazine article written up, and all of us are wearing masks. Even the girl on the front cover is wearing a mask. And I'm like, it's hanging up in a plaque inside the store, but I'm like, man, I wish we would have grabbed some photos of that mask.
Yeah, world has changed.
Yes.
So everything since COVID, kind of as the world has reopened, you blowing and going, as they say.
Yeah, it's been really, we're really blessed there at that location, and it's going to continue growing. I feel like there's people still learning that, hey, it's different now than it was 3 years ago. Because a lot has changed. We have people that's been away for a while and come back to Rome to visit, and they walk in, they're like, wow, this place is not even the same store. So it's really neat kind of seeing their feedback. And
okay, is there, I know you're nutrition based, you're obviously in good shape and you work out and all that stuff. So that's kind of the hook for you. So are there just sweet treats there though for the person who doesn't want
yes,
to work?
Definitely. So if you're a person that just wants a really
something cold and refreshing
dessert, kind of base treat, type smoothie, we have that, and that's going to be under our sweet and fruity category. Or on the opposite end of that spectrum, we have something that's totally organic, plant based, natural peanut butter, almond butter, and then you got everything in between. So we cover literally A to Z from a customer's standpoint on what they would want.
Yeah. So like what are the types of smoothies? There's, I imagine you can combine anything and make a smoothie, right?
Yeah.
But what are the more popular ones?
So I think I mentioned to you earlier, we have one called the Elvis, which is probably in our top 5.
Oh, you're going to definitely go and try it now, aren't you?
It should be number 1 because he's the king.
So the Elvis is probably definitely in our, I would say, top 3 selling smoothies, and that's going to be your chocolate, peanut butter, banana. It's fresh banana. We slice up over 40 pounds of fresh fruit there per day.
Wow.
Yes. Fresh sliced pineapples, avocados, kiwis, bananas. It's a real kitchen back there. We're slicing up fruit. This ain't stuff we're getting out of a syrup or a pump. We're back there throwing knives.
And so, like, obviously doing a podcast like this, coming out of COVID, how how have you marketed yourself? How do you get the word out? Do you use social media? Do you do advertising? What do you do?
So I've always had a fairly creative social media presence. Like I'm really good about taking lots of photos, and where I take them in the store has the kind of the Spartan Smoothies logo in the background. So I've got a really good, I guess, skill for that myself, being in charge of that. But as far as like paid advertising, I have, teamed up with some of the local magazines. And of course, being part of the chamber has helped kind of get some word out. And that's about it. Other than that, it's just word of mouth and people telling all their friends.
Well, that's the best advertising, isn't it? Word of mouth. Tell us about, you mentioned the chamber. Kind of tell us about how that has helped you.
So it's I used to be able to attend the luncheons pretty regularly. I think that was maybe even before the COVID shutdown. So being there and networking with other businesses, helps. And then I think we get a listing on your website. And y'all shoot out certain things.
And we do try to help support businesses like you guys.
Yeah, but I think it's more of just the in-person meetings that we go to that I find the most benefit out of.
All right. So as a guy who's bounced from this to that, what advice would you give somebody listening that maybe wants to take the plunge and start something but just might feel overwhelmed or doesn't know what to do first? What advice would you give?
It's hard. It's when somebody tells me they're thinking about starting their own business, I'm proud of them, but a part of me feels sorry for them. I mean, seriously, because it's there's a thing I saw on maybe Instagram. It's got a guy talking. It's got him like pressure washing a house, and he's saying he got tired of working a 9 to 5, so he started his own business. Now he works 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's a rough road. It's a risk. It's I kind of, in a way, not really jealous, but envy people that can just work a 9 to 5 and be happy and content. Because it does sound nice sometimes, but it's just not how I'm wired.
Yeah, it's all consuming. You think about it on the weekends, and and you're probably going by the store all the time, even on what would be a day off normally, right?
Yep. But the one thing that helps that is, as I tell people, it needs to be something you love, because if you're not passionate about it, it's going to really just run you down. So the fact that, yes, I may be working 7 days a week, but I love it. It's not always rainbows and unicorns, especially when a refrigerator goes out or somebody don't show up to work or whatever, but 90% of the time things are going smooth, and it's a lot more good than bad.
Things are going smoothie.
Yes, smoothie. There you go.
Well, those are just the headaches of management, though. Somebody doesn't show up, or somebody doesn't give notice and quits, or do you have a lot of turnover? Or you're able to retain?
No, in the beginning, I had to kind of do a little bit of clean up.
Yeah.
For the past year and a half, we got a really good crew. The only time we really lose somebody now is if they move off to college or something like that. But we have really good people in place now, and they love their job and they're part of the team, and it's awesome. And
what prompted your interest in nutrition? Because if this had been a different business, you would not have been interested, but it's a personal thing. Mm-hmm. So what prompted you to kind of get into it way back when?
It goes back to probably when I was 17, 18 years old. I lost 80 pounds in high school.
Wow.
And went from a 250-pound male with a lot of acne and no self-esteem to doing my first teenage bodybuilding show at 19 years old.
Wow.
In Atlanta. And then from that point on, I was kind of obsessed with it. Ultimately went to work for a nutrition company. I was sponsored by them. This is all back in the early 2000s. Went to work for them full time, and pretty much my life revolved around fitness and nutrition for over a decade. And then managed a couple of nutrition stores locally. So it just kind of made sense when I had the opportunity to buy a smoothie shop. I kind of had a bigger vision for it to be more than just smoothies. So that's why now it's more than just smoothies. It's nutrition, it's products. It's I call it a one-stop shop for anybody that's got any kind of health goals.
Well, I feel like I'm Oprah now, but what made you flip a switch at that age to lose all that weight? Why did you put on that weight? I feel like I'm Oprah, like I said, but glad the switch flipped to drop it.
Well, it was just at that age, I was not very social, but it didn't take me long to figure out, at parties and stuff, who the cute girls were going after. And I was kind of saw a pattern. Beside me was another larger fella, and we're kind of sitting off to the side by ourselves. We're like, okay. And me and him actually started working out together, and we both lost weight. And 6 months later, we both were sporting 6-pack abs.
Wow!
Yeah,
you didn't just lose weight; you got after it.
Yes, we did. We did a lot of early morning 5:30 Rome Health Spa days, putting in the weights before we had to be at school, and then we'd go back afterwards.
Well, and so but nutrition goes hand to hand with working out, and you develop that skill set over the years and that knowledge base. So you certainly cater your smoothie place to, people before and after working out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you also do partnerships with other nutrition places, right, in town? It kind of...
No, not really.
Okay. Because I was thinking of those meals or whatever that's in your smoothie place.
The meal prep companies,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we actually have teamed up with two. So you walk in our shop, and there's a large double-door cooler that has fresh meals you can grab for the week. So, if you're one of those people that don't have a lot of time to meal prep, or you want a healthier option, you just come in and grab your meals for the week, and they're good to go. You just heat and eat.
Really?
Yep.
So it's not just smoothies. It's
oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's literally a one-stop shop.
And do you personally kind of can you offer advice to folks when they walk in? Like, wait, my knee hurts. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
My muscles ache. I'm old.
That's right. Yeah, So I'm there most of the time, but I have. If you look on our shelving, there's actually a text hotline that actually goes to my another number. So if I'm not there by chance and the customer has a question, they can text that hotline number, and it goes to me directly, so I can kind of answer their questions even if I'm not there.
All right, what else are you into? We know you do the stumps and this, but Hydrate.
So I'm co-owner of Hydrate, which is a vitamin infusion center, and there's a franchise. So I'm not the owner or the founder of the franchise. I just bought into it. And there's 13 locations right now, I believe, of Hydrate. They're kind of new and coming. The first one was in Kennesaw. I think Rome was their 13th location. I think they've even opened up 2 or 3 more since Rome opened up April the 1st this year. So just vitamin infusions, B12 shots, vitamin D injections, anything from...
When you bought into this, did you feel like it was kind of went hand in hand? Like,
Yeah.
How did you hear about it to buy into that?
So a little bit of a funny story. In that same shopping center where the smoothie shop is, at the very end, there used to be a store, but it didn't survive the pandemic. So the unit was empty for a long time. So as I was passing by that empty unit, just noticed it sitting empty for a long time. Well, a voice just kind of kept popping up in my head saying, "Hey, it's empty because you need to put something there." I'm like, "You're crazy. Get out of my head. I don't have time for another business."
That's the entrepreneurial angel telling you to do something.
Right. So I kind of made a little commitment to myself. I said, if this unit's still empty in 3 months, I'm going to start thinking about something. So 3 months went by. It's still talking to me, saying it's for you. So I'm like, what can I put there that kind of makes sense, that would kind of mesh with health and wellness? And started just doing some research and heard about a vitamin infusion place in Cartersville. Went and visited them, found out who the owners were, probably did 10 or 15 lunch meetings. So April 1st, we had our first day of business.
Okay, so how does that business work? People come in and consult, or then get shots? I mean,
yeah. So it's all ran by a doctor and RNs. Everybody there is legit.
Okay.
It kind of feels like you're walking into like a spa / urgent care.
Okay,
but it's more laid back. You walk in, and if you got a migraine, if you want something for energy, they literally do a IV. Right through your arm,
right,
by a licensed nurse
on site.
You get to kick back in a big recliner and watch Netflix and just chill out for about 45 minutes while you're getting those ingredients straight to your system.
And what obviously you come from a health perspective. So what's interesting to me is businesses that people may not know they need as a consumer.
Right.
Like, I never would have thought of that. Oh, do I need this? But
right.
Your point of view is people do need it.
You got, customers that do stuff like that for more of a health and wellness prevention type deal, because, you can take vitamins orally, but if you look into enough studies, you'll see that some of it's poorly digested and absorbed into your system. So by getting them, through an IV, you're getting 90 to 100% of those ingredients into your system. So, and then on the other side, there's people that actually come in with symptoms, whether it's migraines, whether it's hydration issues. We've had people bring their parents by once a week because their parents are dealing with like Alzheimer's and they can't get them enough fluids in them. So it's a lot of different reasons why people come in. Anything from hangovers to
Carly. Why was he looking at you?
I think he was looking at you.
So that's been the rewarding part of that business, is I had no idea how many people would benefit from that type of service that I couldn't even imagine. Because you first look at it from, you just think, okay, it's just for people with hangovers that drink it too much. But then you start realizing, hey, there's people coming in here post chemo, cancer, that's replenishing their body with vitamins. They got deficiencies from all the treatment. So it's hitting home and helping a lot of people.
Wow. So it's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's doing great. So April 1st was our opening date, and it's on track to be where we want it to be.
And Spartan Smoothies doing well?
Doing great. Yep, doing well.
You still grinding stumps?
I was going to ask, how do you spread all your time out? Like, is there a schedule that you make yourself? Because I don't know if I could do that.
I couldn't do it alone. So I have a great team. I got a guy that's been with me with the stump grip business for 2 years. So he pretty much runs the show.
So you don't get to play with the equipment anymore?
Not much. About once, maybe twice a year.
Yeah, okay.
And yes, when I do go out there and run that machine, I'm like, man, this is fun. Because it does require you to focus. Obviously, you don't want to be on your phone or distracted.
Oh, yeah, safety is paramount.
While you're running a machine with 46 carbide teeth spinning 3,000 RPMs, you kind of want to be focused. So I'll usually just keep my phone in the truck, and it is kind of therapeutic. You just kind of get the zone out, run the machine. A lot of times you can put a little music in one of your ears and just sit there and destroy a stump
Right.
with a big remote control toy.
Yeah, I feel that way sometimes cutting grass.
Yeah, there you go.
It's kind of, the routine of the work, your mind can relax,
right.
Someplace else. Yeah. Are you into anything else? Are these the big three right now?
That's the big three right now. I got some other things in the works that I'd like to bring to Rome. Looking for a spot. So,
can you give us a hint?
It's all stuff that I'm passionate about. So it revolves around some salt and heat and cold therapy type stuff. So
how much research do you do before you buy a business? Like with the Hydrate, like how much research did you have to do before you were like, okay, I'm fully committed to this?
Well, yeah, like I said, it was probably 10 or 15 lunch meetings and a lot of, digging around. Yeah. So hours wise, I mean, countless.
Yeah. So that's an investment. You're not there day to day.
No,
yeah.
I'm not at Hydrate. Obviously, for the fact that it's just 2 stores down from the smoothie shop,
right?
I can walk down there and hang out and check on things and
get an IV.
Be more active than probably your traditional owner investor,
right?
So for the fact that it is a business that I'm passionate about and a customer of and a fan of, I am down there probably more than your typical investor would be.
Well, it's interesting. You just kind of saw an empty space and you thought, how can I fill it? So I feel like if you walk down Broad Street here, you might see an empty space. You go,
right.
Okay.
Well, yeah. And people kind of joke around. They're like, well, as soon as, the next shop goes out, in that same shopping center in 5 more years, it's just going to be booked,
It's going to be the Keith Plaza.
That's right. Now, I don't wish anybody to go out, but I just look at it as an opportunity. So yeah, I mean, if somebody did have to close up shop in that same shopping center, I'd probably jump on it and bring something else in.
Well, good for you. That's a great mindset.
Yeah.
Well, just any final thoughts? Certainly, when we wrap up here, we like for you to be able to give contact information, how people can follow you, your businesses on social, or whatever you want them to know. Phone numbers, locations, your hours, stuff like that. Yeah.
As far as this Spartan Smoothies and Nutrition, if you've got any health concerns or if you want to knock off a few pounds, we do nutrition consultations there 7 days a week, and you can go to SpartanRome.com to look at that information, and it's 1-on-1. We use a very expensive body composition scale to give me some information about your current metabolism that helps me dial in a plan specific for you and your goals. So it's a very neat process. Most people really like it and leave with a solid game plan, and then most people see results. So that's that aspect of it. And as far as the smoothie shop goes, we're all over the Facebook and Instagram world, Spartan Smoothies Rome.
I say this every week. What did we do before social media and phones?
That's right. And yeah, it's been great. And the same thing with Hydrate. Hydrate Rome is on Instagram and Facebook, and you can follow those pages and browse for a few minutes and get a real quick idea of what we're about.
Okay. Carly, any final thoughts from the chamber?
Just wanted to thank you, Keith, for coming
and
being a one-man show today.
No,
I do
great.
appreciate that.
Yeah, this is good.
But anything at the chamber, obviously, please go to RomeGA.com and you can go to our calendar and kind of see what's going on in the community as well with the chamber events. We have a business after hours coming up that's hosted by River City Bank. That's going to be a lot of fun. I recommend everyone coming that's a member. We have ribbon cuttings always if people in the community want to support that. And you can reach out to me at kparker@romega.com if y'all have any questions about membership and how the chamber can support businesses.
Beautiful. That's it. We good?
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Keith, appreciate you being here. We call it a cocktail party without the cocktails because normally we have a big crowd, but it was all about you today, big guy.
All right, man. Well, thank you.
Well, and good luck to you.
I
find your take on things refreshing, and it's interesting and unique. And some people do work a 9 to 5. Some people pursue a career from out of the gate. Some people bounce from this, do one business entrepreneurially, but you kind of do your thing.
Yes, I make myself dizzy sometimes, but I love it. I love it.
Well, good luck to you. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. You've been listening to the Rome Floyd Chamber Small Business Spotlight. Here on Rome Business Radio, we broadcast from the Hardy Realty Studios on Broad Street in downtown Rome, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. Thank you so much for listening.